Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SINAI Dinner.
Welcome. Welcome to the dinner.
Welcome to the dinner.
What do I like about school?
I love my teachers.
A good teacher is someone who can know you.
Because the teachers care about you.
Hashem gave them a gift, and they're very happy to have students like us.
Gee, well, I love a lot of things about school. I love my classes, I love art, I love going on these fun trips, doing these fun activities, even the lunch.
My favorite subjects is art.
I like art, history, science, English, and I got a list.
I'm very good at math.
Gym, Arabic, psychology,
Geometry. Science.
biology, Flemish, political discussion, masonry,
I really like math because I like money.
My favorite class is biology class.
defense against the dark arts, Hungarian history, Peruvian history,
My favorite subject is recess.
Recess. Recess.
rhinoceros chariot racing, mind reading, and Gemara.
I love my friends at Sinai. Everything. I like everything in school. I love learning. For real.
Turn off your cell phone.
Turn off your cell phone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, have a good time.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the SINAI Dinner. I'm Ariel Greenbaum-Sapash, SINAI's Associate Managing Director. Thank you all for being here tonight in support of SINAI and the beautiful children we serve. Your generosity is truly helping us change lives. We are thrilled to be here in person tonight. A brief word about the format of tonight's dinner program, which is different than in past years. In this first half of the program, we will hear a few words from our dean, Rabbi Dr. Yisrael Rothwax, who will introduce tonight's short feature documentary, In the Blink of an Eye. Following the documentary, we will have a brief intermission, during which time your main course will be served. As soon as everyone's main course is on the table, we will begin part 2 of our program, the presentations to the honorees. Dessert and Mariv will take place immediately following the conclusion of part 2 of our program. And now, please join me in welcoming our honorees. Tova and Shai Gerson. Micha Kaufman. Dr. Lisa Kotler. And Ed Rosinski. In addition, tonight we're dedicating the Norbert and Liesel Schloss Zichronam Livracha Scholarship Fund, established by Marcia and Tom Friedman and family. Thank you to our dedicated board members, our event chairs, Esther Lehrer and Alyssa Wilk, and all of the volunteers and staff who made this evening possible. And thank you to the 3 couples who served for this year's campaign as representatives of our newest school, Sinai at YCQ. Haley and Yaakov Hartstein, Leora and Yaakov Shafrin, and Sarla and Danny Turkel. We are here tonight to celebrate our students. They show grit and determination every day, and they refuse to allow their challenges to define them. But none of that would be possible without the hard work of Sinai's talented and caring educational and therapeutic staff, and all of those in Sinai's business office who work tirelessly to make sure that every child receives exactly what he or she needs to succeed. Our mission at Sinai is built on inclusion. We are so grateful to our partner schools for including and embracing our students within their walls. They are the Joseph Kushner Hebrew Academy and Ray Kushner Yeshiva High School, Rosenbaum Yeshiva of North Jersey, SAR Academy, Torah Academy of Bergen County, Mayanot Yeshiva High School for Girls, Heichal HaTorah, and our most recent partner school, YCQ, Yeshiva of Central Queens. Inclusion doesn't stop at our partner schools, and we are so grateful to the dozens of businesses and organizations within our community who serve as our vocational partners. We welcome our cherished friends from the press, Jamie Janoff from the Jewish Standard, and Moshe Kinderlehrer and Mark Schwartz from the Jewish Link. Thank you for the beautiful articles and editorials about Sinai, 2 of which are printed in the dinner journals on your tables. We have with us tonight many dedicated community rabbis and leaders, as well as Lee Lasher, president of the Jewish Federation of Northern New Jersey, and Benjamin Mann, chief planning officer of Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West New Jersey. We are so grateful for your partnership and your support. Finally, thank you to our corporate sponsors, whose support provides another wonderful example of Sinai's deep ties within the community. And thank you to all of you for being here tonight in support of our children.
Good evening. I'm Yisrael Rothwex, Dean of Sinai Schools. Before we begin our program, please join me in saying some Tehillim, Psalms, as we plead to the one above to grant compassion and safety to the citizens of Ukraine. Shira ma'alos, mima makim kirasicha Adonai. Adonai shema b'koli, tiyan aznecha kashuvos l'kol tachanunai. Im avonos tishmarya, Adonai miyamod. Ki imcha hatzlicha leman tivarei. Kivisi Adonai kivsa nafshi v'lidvaro hocholti. Nafshi l'Adonai mishomrim laboker, shomrim laboker. Yachel Yisrael el Adonai, ki im Adonai hachesed v'harbe imo fidus, v'hu yiftes Yisrael mikol avonosav. Sinai was born 40 years ago out of the yearning of a small group of parents who were determined to find an appropriate special education for their children without sacrificing their Jewish education. This year, we lost 2 individuals who were instrumental to Sinai's establishment and subsequent success, and who helped to build us into who we are today. Leo Brandstatter, Zichrono Livracha, was one of those founding parents, together with his beloved wife, Dasi. Leo became Sinai's first president and served on our board of directors for decades, setting the tone for what leadership at Sinai should and continues to be, void of ego and full of courage to take on what seems impossible. Leo shaped our identity and guided us always with an eye towards what was best for our children. It is no exaggeration to say that without him, Sinai would not exist today. 40 years ago, when Leo and Dasi were struggling to create what would later become Sinai, Rabbi Alvin Marcus, Zichrono Livracha, used his moral influence to help convince the community of the need for such a place. Attitudes were different in 1982, but Rabbi Marcus told the community, "These children deserve an education and to have a chelek in our Torah just like any other child. We must make it happen. The leadership at the school that would later be named Joseph Kushner Hebrew Academy took his words to heart and opened their doors to Sinai's first class. Rabbi Marcus continued his direct involvement with Sinai until the end of his life. Leo, Rabbi Marcus, Sinai will miss you. I will miss you so much. To you, Zechronam Levracha. Sinai has grown so much since those early days. What began as a dream 40 years ago is now a world-class institution made up of 8 schools across the region. We have changed the lives of thousands of children. And more broadly, I believe that we have helped change community attitudes towards individuals with disabilities. But what makes me most proud is our commitment to serve children with such a wide range of challenges, to see beyond their disabilities, and to design a program for each one of them to meet his or her specific needs. Which brings me to our featured documentary tonight. Each year we bring you a different story in the hope of illustrating the many different types of children we serve. I like to say, if you've met one Sinai student, you've met one Sinai student. The film we bring you tonight tells a story of just one child and his family. Yoel came to us at the result of a traumatic brain injury following a horrific car accident. His story is unique, but what brings each and every child to Sinai is a unique set of circumstances and a unique set of needs. Our film tonight is at times delicate and emotional. I ask all of you to please silence your phones and please put them away so that the sound or the screen glare from your phone does not detract from your neighbor's experience. As a heads up, this film contains some graphic images that may be difficult to watch. But it also contains a central message of faith, hope, and joy. We're so grateful to Avi and Michelle Feder and to Yoel for allowing us to tell their story.
A young child is clinging to life tonight after being pinned between 2 cars.
Within 1 second, in the blink of an eye, your life is totally different. It was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. Yoel was the cutest, blonde, mushy, adorable kid you've ever seen.
I can't even tell you, he was like a marshmallow, sweet as sugar.
He was this adorable little boy that you would never think anything would happen to.
And then, when Yoel was 2, the unthinkable happened.
It was a regular day. He loved music. And I decided I wanted him to go to a music together class. It was just a few blocks away.
I was teaching here locally, and I received a phone call that there was an accident. I got there at the precise time that they were loading him into the ambulance.
I get a call from Avi. He says, Michelle, Yoel was in an accident, and it's not good. And I said, I don't understand what you're just saying. What do you mean? He says, I'm by the ambulance. I cannot talk now. I have to go. But I'll call you back when I get to the hospital.
They pushed me into the ambulance.
And I started screaming. It was probably like a primal scream. I just started screaming like a crazy person.
I was there. I heard Michelle scream, and I ran upstairs.
There was a car. Yoel wasn't even by the street.
He was going into a car to get into a carpool.
There was an older gentleman who collapsed at the wheel.
The car went out of control and went up on the sidewalk.
He jumped the curb. He went through 3 lawns, and he stopped and went right into Yoel.
This car came up and smacked his head and crushed his head between the 2 cars.
We got to the hospital. It was like being in a dream. All these doctors and nurses ran around, surrounded him. From like 20, 25 people surrounded him. And I was standing there on the side just watching this take place. I didn't know what to make of anything. I just knew it was bad.
I just remember crying and screaming at God. This can't be happening to my Yoel. It can't. It can't be happening to him. It can't be happening to me. This is just not. This can't happen. This can't be happening.
And they performed emergency surgery on him.
And I remember seeing this thing lying on a bed, and I'm thinking, could I see anything that would resemble my son? And when I got closer, I realized that's Yoel. That's my son.
That sight will never, ever leave my mind.
The doctors were telling us, this is bad. It's bad.
And they said that the next 24 hours will tell what's going to be.
They didn't think he would survive, and even if he did survive, they said prepare yourself because he probably will never walk or talk or do anything. So just prepare. Prepare for your new reality.
They said the one thing he can tell you is if he leaves here, he will not be the same person that was brought in here.
Right.
He will never be the same person again.
I said to God, I said, you're gonna lose me. You have to make absolute miracles. I don't care if no one has ever survived something like this before. He'll be the first. I need you to make miracles happen so this kid is good. And I called people. I said, everyone has to daven.
Apparently word was spreading very fast. And people gathered, we heard, we saw pictures of people saying Tehillim.
Schools were having hundreds of kids praying, and little kids were doing good deeds for his recovery.
What happened was bringing the community together, the entire Jewish community throughout the world, from different countries. People were saying Tehillim.
We pray, all of us, along with the children together here tonight,
he had major brain damage. I think they kept him in a coma for about 2 weeks. And when they finally did wake him, he didn't do anything. It was like he was sleeping. He couldn't move his finger, he couldn't blink his eyes, nothing. And I thought, oh my God, this is my Yoel now. What am I gonna do? And every day was a struggle. We didn't know he could see. We didn't know he could hear. We didn't know anything.
I remember the first glimmer that things were on the right track.
My mother was singing a song that she always sang to him.
The money on the bus goes ting-a-ling-a-ling-a. Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a. Oh my God, he hears.
All of a sudden, he smiled for the first time. Huge smile, because he remembered my mother singing. And I said, he's there. There's a piece of him that's there. That's all I need. All I need is a piece, and then we'll work from that. It gave me so much hope. It gave me so much hope. Doctors were shocked. Doctors couldn't believe it. They've never ever seen someone wake up from an injury that was so severe and so intense. I truly believe that all the miracles that happened with Yoel and his being alive today is because of the support that we got from people, the Tehillim that was said throughout the world, the good deeds that were done. There were so many people that were thinking like, it could have been my son. And it is my son, it's one of ours. It's any mother and father, I think, felt our pain. And they cried out. They cried out to God. And God listened. You know, he had to start all over again from scratch. It was like a rebirth. He couldn't walk. He couldn't move his hands up and down. He couldn't do anything. It was years and years of physical therapy and occupational therapy. He went through surgery after surgery, and every day he was able to do a little something more.
He lost his frontal lobe in the accident, and that affects personality. He was hyperactive, he was not focused, and he was uncontrollable.
I spent my entire career in the field of education, because I knew that Yoel was going to need something special.
He was not a cookie-cutter child, and he did not fit in the box where he would be able to succeed in a regular school, in a regular setting. So we knew we had to search for alternatives. It wasn't easy.
I remember Yoel's accident. I remember watching it on television. What a horror. A little boy crushed up against a car. And I remember prayer vigils throughout the world for this little boy. And I did not follow Yoel after that. But there he was, you know, maybe 4 years later at my doorstep. And I'm talking to his parents, I'm talking to his grandfather. And I felt, this is why Sinai is here.
He's been in Sinai for 4 years, and Sinai has changed our lives.
My name is Yoel Feder. When I was 2, I was in a car crash. It was a miracle that I survived and that I'm here right now.
So when Yoel started with us, he was adorable, but he really completely lacked impulse control. He had difficulty sitting and learning for any period of time, never mind an extended period of time. And just being part of a classroom was super difficult for him, super challenging.
He had 2 modes. He was just in a constant state of either feeling really, really overstimulated by everything around him or worrying that he was going to be overwhelmed and overstimulated by everything around him.
Something would happen in his environment that affected him, and the reaction was immediate and extreme.
Something as simple as the way your chair scraped the floor could be really, really upsetting to him.
A child would say something in a normal tone of voice, and all of a sudden his hands would be over his ears and he would be yelling, "Stop screaming, everybody stop screaming." I think the sensory overload was so hard for him.
The challenges that Yoel is facing are directly related to his traumatic brain injury.
We saw right at the beginning, despite his experiencing so many difficulties at that time, that there was so much potential there, that if given the right opportunity and the right strategies, he'd be able to shine. He needed something that was very highly individualized, even more than 2 or 3 students in a group.
Even in a class where there were 5 or 6 students and 3 teachers, he still needed the additional support of a one-to-one aide.
In the beginning, Yoel's one-to-one was always there by his side. Because of his traumatic brain injury, he has damage to his frontal lobe and really struggled with that internal self-talk that we all do. Things like, it's okay, I can handle this. This is not a big deal. I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to get started. Those little things that we all tell ourselves without realizing it, Yoel didn't have that voice in his head. And so for a long time, his one-to-one was that voice in his head, telling him from right behind his shoulder, it's okay, just start with 1 word, or just answer 1 question, or I know that sound is annoying, but you can handle this.
What? Well, I think if you think about it for a moment, you know this answer.
Maybe.
Amazing.
So another presenting issue that we saw is that he is all over the place, and he doesn't seem to know if he's too close to somebody, if he's in other people's personal space. He's having a conversation and he's walking across the room at the same time.
We talk a lot in group about brain and body and this idea of, when we're talking to somebody, how we show interest.
It means, am I oriented? Am I in the conversation? Some of our children, Yoel included, might be sitting in class talking like this as the person is over there. And just the cue word brain and body remind me, I need to be over here. This is where the conversation is.
When you're doing brain and body, your knees are pointing to who's talking or who you are talking to. And your eyes, your brain is focused on them and your eyes are looking at them.
So each student has 3 or 4 individual goals that they're working towards.
My goals this year are follow directions the first time, focus on my own concerns, brain and body, and using mature behavior.
And it's actually every half hour we stop and we evaluate, how am I doing with my goals? And he'll stop and he'll look at his goal card and he'll say to us, well, I did a nice job of following directions the first time, but I did call out a little bit too much. It's become a self-reflection tool for him.
We are teaching the children things that we all do naturally in our lives.
Yoel has started to internalize the processes that he needs to be successful throughout his day. So for example, right now he has a checklist on his desk, and it's called Yoel's Arrival Checklist.
I use my checklist to tell me what I do, my daily routine.
And so now, rather than his teachers having to remind him of the next step, we just say to him, Yoel, refer to your checklist. And he loves it because it's provided him with this amazing sense of independence and responsibility.
That's always the goal, to become more and more independent, more and more capable of functioning on your own.
I see in Yoel many beautiful things. One of them is his determination. This is a child who is determined to do better, to get better, to make it better.
Yoel has enormous potential. He has become quite self-aware. He really is able to look at himself and say, these are my challenges. And because he's able to say that, he's also able to accept feedback on how to make change.
Yoel has absolutely blossomed over the past few years. Across all academics, Yoel is performing at or above grade level. As Yoel is blossoming, the world is opening up to him.
Let's do it at the same time. Always do kind things.
Beautiful.
He is empathetic beyond his years.
He's happy and he wants to make other people happy.
He's like a bright sun shining. He comes home every day from Sinai. He comes home every day, and I say, Yoel, I missed you. How was your day? And he says, Ima, it was great. And he means it.
He really is a delicious little boy.
Yoel teaches us what it means never to put limitations on what a child can accomplish.
I want to thank all my teachers for helping me learn and helping me at times when I struggle. Without my teachers, I wouldn't know most of what I know.
We have so much gratitude towards Sinai, towards the teachers, towards everyone that works there on not giving up on him and helping him and guiding him.
Why it happened to begin with, I don't know. But I know he would not be where he is now if not for Sinai.
Sinai has changed Yoel's life. He's a totally new person now, and he's incredible. He's incredible.
The reality is that we don't know how he would have been without the accident. We don't know. But I can tell you that he's just pure sweetness.
I almost think to myself, would he be the special kid he is now if he didn't go through that? I don't have the answer. But I do believe he's going to do amazing things in life. I think he's going to be incredible. Not just regular. I think he's going to be incredible. He's a blessing.
Hi. Hi, my name is Yoel Feder. I hope you enjoyed that film. I just wanted to say thank you to my Ima, Daddy, Safti, and Zadie for everything you have done for me. Thank you for being such amazing parents and grandparents, and thank you for sending me to Sinai. And thank you all for being here tonight. That's it.
Thank you, Yoel. I hope you all enjoyed the premiere of our film tonight. You saw it first, but our film is now on Sinai's website and on social media. In just a few moments, you should receive an email with a link. Please share it with your friends. Our films not only inspire people to donate to us, they are also a powerful tool to help us reach families whose children might benefit from Sinai. We will now have a brief intermission while your main course is served. As soon as everyone's main courses are on the table, we will resume with the second half of our program. Mariv will take place later during dessert, immediately after the second part of our program concludes. Enjoy your meal.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present Journeys, an original Sinai music video.
In the time before you were born, I longed for you, I prayed for you. When I first held you in my arms, I was sure my heart would burst with love for you. Hush, little baby, what a journey lies ahead. The future shines through in your eyes. And whatever comes, you will never be alone. I will always be there by your side. When I saw how you struggled, my world cracked in two. I wept for you, I prayed for you. Though you needed so much, I didn't know where to turn to find the right help for you. I couldn't give up. What was I to do? I sought for you, the best for you. The road was so rough, so many tears in your eyes. My heart would break inside for you. Hush, my special child, your journey lies ahead. The future shines through in your eyes. And whatever comes, you will never be alone. I will always be there by your side. I finally found a place to help you to succeed. I see how life has changed for you, how hard you work, how high you have soared. I always did believe in you. Who you are today he still challenges and face them at all. My heart would burst with pride for you. Oh, my amazing child, what a journey lies ahead. The future shines through in your eyes. Know that whatever comes, you will never be alone. I will always be there by your side. I will always be there by your side. I will always be there by your side.
What a beautiful music video. It really captures the emotions felt by our parents. Thank you, Shim Kramer, for creating and performing that beautiful song for Sinai. And thank you to all the families that participated in the music video. Good evening. I'm Avi Vogel, and I'm honored to serve as president of Sinai Schools. Shai and Tova Gerson have been Sinai supporters for well over a decade. But even so, when we asked them to be honored, it was clear we were asking them to step out of their comfort zone. They agreed first and foremost because they believe in Sinai's mission and recognize that Sinai fills a critical role in the community. They acknowledge that accepting this responsibility allows them to serve as role models, or in Tova's words, if we accept this year, perhaps others will accept in future years. And finally, they agreed because they were honored to stand shoulder to shoulder with their great friend Micha in doing this mitzvah for Sinai. That's the type of people they are. When there's a community in need, they jump in. In that regard, we are so grateful to Shai for allowing Sinai to benefit from his professional expertise by joining our investment committee. And we are thrilled that Tova has agreed to work with us to further develop our growing ambassador initiative, through which we are expanding our base of Sinai supporters and leaders. Shai and Tova are true Baalei Chesed, and as we all know, the apple does not fall far from the tree. As proof, we are pleased to share this message from their son Jonah, who is currently learning in Israel.
Hi, Mom and Dad. Wish I could be with you guys tonight to celebrate. I know you've told me you are embarrassed to take this honor because you're not a Sinai parent, but I'm so happy you did because I've learned a great deal from Sinai, about myself and about how to treat others. When I was a freshman at TABC, I got involved with a program called Lunch Buddies. Sinai paired me up with a Sinai student, and every week we'd have lunch together. I'm not exaggerating, it was the highlight of my week, and my friends that also did Lunch Buddies felt the same. Lunch Buddies helped us see through our differences and create real friendships. During COVID, I would text and hang out with my Sinai friend, and we became buds and still keep in touch. Maybe when I started the program, it was a chesed, but I never thought of it as a chesed. It was just a time to chill and have pizza with a friend. I'm so happy that TBC has this program because it gave me just as much. Showing me that at the core, we are all the same. High school would not have been the same without it. Mom and Dad, you are involved with many different important causes in the community. Your kindness for others is off the charts. You are the first in line to help whoever's in need, and it's always with a smile. You've taught us really well in that department, and I hope I can do the same. But your commitment to Sinai makes me the proudest. Every school should have a Sinai, and every kid should have a lunch buddy. Mom and Dad, I love you, I miss you, and I'm so happy to say you are my role models. Mazel tov.
Well, I couldn't have said it any better. Shai and Tova, won't you please join me at the podium to accept a gift of beautiful artwork created by our children just for you.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yeshalem Sicharo V'yosi
Good evening. I am Sam Fishman, Managing Director of Sinai Schools. Wow, thank you. Missed you too. I have the privilege tonight of dedicating the Norbert and Liesel Schloss Zichronam Levracha Scholarship Fund, established by their daughter, Marcia Friedman, her husband Tom, and their family. The last time I saw Liesel Schloss was here, 2 years ago at Sinai's 2020 dinner. Liesel was about 90 years old, and she arrived here on Rebbetzin Chevy Yuden's arm. As soon as I spotted Liesel, I rushed over to greet her. It was very meaningful to me that she was here, and I told her so. To me, she and her dear husband Norbert of blessed memory, in their modest and unassuming way, were Sinai royalty. For many years, Norbert had served as the Gabbai, the administrator of the charity fund of Congregation Shomrei Torah under the leadership of Rabbi Yudin. It was not uncommon for Rabbi Yudin to call me to say he was sending us a parent whose child needed Sinai, inevitably followed by the words, "They have no money." But Bubala, Rabbi Yudin would say, "Don't worry, I will raise the money." And that's where Norbert came in. Together, Rabbi Yudin and Norbert Schloss were the perfect Jacob's ladder. Rabbi Yudin, with his head reaching toward the heavens, and Norbert with his feet on the ground. After we accepted the student, it was Norbert who called me every month to tell me, "I'm on top of the rabbi, the children's tuition will be paid on time," and it was. Norbert and Liesel cared deeply about our children, and they cared deeply about honoring commitments. Norbert and Liesel were regulars at Sinai's dinner, and because I revered them, it meant so much to me when they would find me in the crowd in order to tell me, "Keep it up," because in their words, Sinai was doing avodat kodesh, holy work. Norbert and Liesel's love and devotion to each other was beautiful to behold. I enjoyed bumping into them on their long walks through Fairlawn. Even well into their 80s, they were always holding hands. Marcia told me that Sinai was, and I quote, her parents' baby, and that it was always important to them that Sinai's children receive the help they need and the Yiddishkeit that is their birthright. By establishing the Norbert and Liesel Schloss Scholarship Fund, Marcia and Tom and the entire Friedman family have helped ensure the fulfillment of their parents' legacy and wishes. The generosity of the Friedman family and the generosity that this scholarship fund has inspired in others will be life-changing to our students. We are so grateful. Marcia and Tom, I ask you to please join me on the stage as we present you with a special gift created by Sinai's children just for you.
Good evening. I am David Shapiro. As a board member and past president of Sinai, it gives me great pleasure to speak to you tonight about my dear friend, Ed Rosinski. For as long as I have known him, and we go back at least 30 years, Ed has been a passionate supporter of causes both within the Jewish community and the Bergen community at large, serving on boards and giving of his time and expertise with generosity and love. But Ed deserves special recognition for the ways in which he has quietly, without fanfare, helped Sinai. It was Ed who, 6 years ago, made an introduction between Sinai and Michael Marin, CEO of Holy Name Medical Center. Ed is a longtime member of Holy Name's Board of Trustees and their treasurer. He recognized that despite the fact that Holy Name is a Catholic institution and Sinai is a Jewish organization, Sinai's mission would speak to Mike Marin's sense of social justice and our shared commitment to helping those in need. Today, Holy Name is one of Sinai's largest benefactors and supports Sinai in numerous valuable ways. As I sometimes say, who would have thunk it? Ed did. Ed was thinking about Sinai's future long before that. Almost 20 years ago, it was about 20 years ago, Ed asked me to join him for dinner to meet a friend of his. David Schwartz was an older gentleman who did not know much about Sinai, but Ed suspected that Mr. Schwartz would be moved by Sinai's mission. I remember that meal quite clearly, not just the good food, but the passion and love with which Ed spoke about Sinai. Fast forward to 2021, when we discovered that Mr. Schwartz had passed away and left a significant legacy gift to Sinai. This gift comes just as we have launched Sinai's Legacy Campaign. As an institution celebrating 40 years, we hope to create roots that will take hold into the next generation. Ed foresaw that need 20 years ago, and now, seeing the power of what Ed accomplished with David Schwartz, Zichrono Livracha, my wife Alona and I were inspired, along with 20 other families, to join Sinai's growing legacy circle and include Sinai in our wills. I invite you to learn more about this initiative to secure Sinai's future on our website or on the cards on your table. Ed, I know your beloved wife Enid, of blessed memory, would be so proud of what you have done for the children of Sinai. Won't you please join me on the stage to receive a gift from our children created just for you.
When we first approached Dr. Lisa Kotler and asked her to be honored, I was genuinely moved by the way she reacted. Lisa feels passionately about Sinai and greatly values our work because of her firsthand experience with Sinai and with our students, and because of what Lisa does professionally and how respected she is in her field. Her willingness to be our public ambassador was very meaningful to us. Lisa's contribution to Sinai is on a professional level, but also is, for her and for us, very personal and vitally important. All of our students have complex profiles. A number of them also have emotional or psychiatric needs. Creating exactly the right program for each child is based on many factors and requires collaboration between the parents, our educators and therapists, and outside treating professionals. That's where Lisa comes in. Lisa is a child psychiatrist and, for many years, has been treating young Sinai students who need this type of support. At Sinai, our staff works with many outside professionals, but our partnership with Lisa sets the standard. For the students in Lisa's care, determining exactly the right talent, exactly the right treatment takes real talent. Lisa is not only talented, but supremely caring with the children, their parents, and even our staff. She takes the time to meet with our educational team throughout the year in order to review each child under her care. Beyond her outside sessions with our students, she asks for our feedback about how each child is doing in the classroom and offers suggestions on ways we may create an even better learning environment for a student. Children thrive when everyone on the team works together, and our students who work with Dr. Kotler thrive beautifully. Even in conversations about some of the most difficult and sensitive issues one might face with a child, she carries herself with grace and compassion and puts everyone at ease. It is no exaggeration to say that the work she does with our most complex students is literally life-saving. Lisa, what you do not only helps our children, but it helps our educational staff to become better at what they do. Please join me on the stage and accept this gift from our students just for you.
A song for you, my child, as I watch you grow and hear your laughter. It wasn't long ago when I couldn't find a way to help you. I want it all for you. I want all of you. No one answered.
I had this routine I wanted to present, and we were fighting whether I could do it or not, and they won. So I'm going to go straight to our remarks. Good evening. I am Rabbi Mark Karasik, and it is my privilege to serve as chairman of the board of Sinai Schools. What an amazing evening tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Exactly 2 years ago, we stood in this room reciting Tehillim for our longtime board member, Micha Kaufman, praying for his recovery from the devastating car accident that he had, which left him in a coma. Chasdei Hashem, our prayers were answered, and we are blessed to have Micha here tonight, not just as a guest, but as an honoree. I've known Micha since he was a young boy, and even then, he was the embodiment of kindness. Seeking ways to do acts of chesed, acts of kindness, was baked into his character, and this only grew as he became an adult. I asked him to join the board of Sinai over 15 years ago because I knew that he would always be the first in line to dive into any project that would help our children. And I was right. Just a few months before his accident, Micha donated his kidney to a complete stranger. He literally gave a piece of himself to save another person's life. But now, since his accident, Micha is on a madrega, a level few could ever reach. If you have school-aged children, there is a good chance that they have heard Micha speak at their schools. Since his accident, he has dedicated his life to encouraging our children to do chesed. His mantra is Olam Chesed Yiboneh, build a world full of kindness. In fact, he even created Olam Chesed Yiboneh magnets for everyone here tonight to remind us that we can all make the world a better place. Please take one of them on your way out this evening. Micha still fights violently to overcome his lingering effects from his accident. For many, this daily struggle might shake their faith, turn them inward, and make them angry. But not Micha. Rather, Micha is an inspirational role model for the entire community, and especially for our Sinai children. He lives by a lesson that he said he learned recently from Rabbi Larry Rothwax. Don't say, I can't do it. Say, I can't do it yet. This is very much in line of what we try to teach our students who are struggling to overcome their challenges. By the way Micha lives his life, he teaches our students that their challenges and disabilities do not define them, and that, like him, they can live their lives to the fullest and in service to Hashem. Micha, I'm so proud of you. Won't you please join me at the podium to accept a gift created by our children for you? You speak to me.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Karasik. Before I get started, I want to thank Rabbi Mark and Linda Karasik for getting me involved in Sinai many years ago. They gave me the opportunity, and it has been one of the most important causes in my life. On behalf of all the honorees, I would like to thank all of you for being here tonight in support of Sinai. I promise I'll keep my remarks short, nothing longer than an hour. Just kidding. I know all the honorees feel the same way that I do, that tonight is not about us, it's about the Sinai students. By being here tonight, you are honoring them. The students are the ones who work so hard every day, who deserve our admiration. We can all learn from them. As Rabbi Karasik mentioned, since I began to recover from my accident, I have been doing a lot of public speaking. I have a mission to encourage people to do chesed, to do acts of kindness. I have spoken at shuls and schools and camps across the country, always with one clear message. Everyone can and should do chesed. Olam chesed yivaneh. If we all do chesed, we build a better world. By now, I've spoken to thousands of students, but of all the students I've spoken to, the most personally meaningful for me are the Sinai students I've met with. Sometimes children with disabilities can feel like they are only able to receive chesed. That is why it's so important for them to learn that they all have ways they can help give back as well. I can tell you from my personal experience how important this is. I always like to do chesed and help others, but since my accident, I have had to learn how to accept chesed from others. I have no choice, but I can tell you it feels much better to do chesed than to receive chesed. So when I meet with Sinai students, I tell them, just because they have a learning disability or special needs doesn't mean they don't shine in other ways. And what has been amazing to me is how I've gone to Sinai classes and talked to them about doing chesed. It's already something they think about and do, because from day one, their Sinai teachers have been teaching them that they are valuable members of the community and that they have a responsibility to do chesed just like everyone else. Sinai is not just teaching these children how to read and overcome their learning disabilities. Sinai is teaching them to be good people, to be mentioned. There's one Sinai student I see every week at Tomchei Shabbos, packing food for people who don't have enough to eat. It gives me such nachas to see him doing that, to see how happy and proud he is to help. They are the Sinai students who deliver care packages to older people in the neighborhood. And even in COVID, they spend a few minutes talking to them on the outside. They bring such joy to these senior citizens who live alone. And their entire middle school girls class in Sinai of RYJ. After I spoke with them, they started a whole chesed project and called it Micha's Mindset, and then invited me back so they could share their journal entries on how they are trying to make the world a better place, one small act at a time. I can't even begin to tell you how much that meant to me. I want to tell you something that happened to me in the hospital when I was waking up from my coma. I actually don't remember this because I don't have a memory from that time, but my father, my sisters, and my doctors told me this. Every morning, the doctors would ask me questions to see how my brain was healing. They would ask me my name, what was my father's name, and what was my sister's name. And every day I would say, I'm sorry, I don't remember. This went on for over a month. But every day when I woke up, I asked for my tefillin and I davened. My brain wasn't working, but my neshama was strong. I couldn't remember my name, but I knew my identity as a Jew. The Sinai students teach us all that it doesn't matter if you have things you are not good at. You can always find ways to help other people. Their neshamas are strong too. So to all of you who are here tonight, you are doing chesed by being here and supporting Sinai. I want to thank you so much for that. You are helping Sinai to do their holy work. You are helping Sinai nurture their precious children's neshamas. You are helping Sinai teach their students how to be contributing members of the community. And they are able to spread their chesed further and further and build a world of kindness, of chesed. Olam chesed yibaneh. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Micha. And thank all of you for spending the evening with us. Everything you've seen and heard tonight couldn't happen without your support. If you've been inspired by what you have experienced this evening, please consider making an additional gift to help our children. You can use the cards on your table to donate or to let us know that you're interested in our Legacy Circle, or you can donate online. And now, dessert is served just outside the Grand Ballroom, and Ma'ariv will take place now in the East Ballroom outside and to the left. We hope you've enjoyed the evening, and we hope to see you again next year.
חסד ייבנה ירנה עולם חסד ייבנה עולם חסד ייבנה ירנה Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-na-na-na-na. Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-na-na-na-na. Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-na. Chesed yibaneh, ta-na-na-na-na-na. Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-na-na-na-na. Ta-na-na-na-na-na. Olam chesed yibaneh, ta-na-na-na-na-na.